Hello and welcome to my garage. I call it the Man Cave here at Wistful Vistas in beautiful suburban San Diego, California. What is this? I count 11 major pieces here. This is a bike carrier for your car or SUV by a company called OutfitR. They've sent one to me for trial and assembly. Let's try it out. Hey, we're in this together. Let's do it and see how well this thing works. Come along, should be interesting. I do want to note that this set comes with a nice instruction manual on how to put it together. The manual is of the pictographic type, that is, there's not a lot of verbiage to go, but there is some, and it's all in English, so it's not a multilingual instruction set. And it should be noted that no tools are provided with the kit, as they are in some cases. I do want to note as we start out here that some of these pieces are a little hefty. For instance, this piece weighs 12.8 pounds and this piece weighs 8 pounds. Put that together, you've got 20 pounds. Not inconsequential. Okay, these are the first two pieces that go together. Makes our 20-pound assembly I was talking about. And there's a little spring-loaded connection in there. Now we're going to tighten them up with a bolt provided. Please note that the first assembly step involves this bolt, washer, nut, and lock washer. As I tighten this first guy up, it occurs to me to say that you might perhaps need two monkey wrenches or crescent wrenches. In this case, I'm using a channel lock to hold down the other side of the bolt. The other thing to mention is that the bolts, threads and nut threads have been what looks like to be painted. They're not powder coated. The bigger pieces are powder coated, but these nuts and bolts are painted, and that means that the threads can be a little tough to first negotiate, so you've got to get through that paint layer. So tighten that baby down, and there we got it. First piece together, and our total weight is 20 pounds for that little guy. Step two involves assembling this to the bike carrier itself, and you're going to need to pay attention to the orientation of this end of it here and which side this piece goes on. So pay attention to that as you put it together. They show it in the assembly instructions. Also, just note that these pieces are a lot lighter and easier to manipulate. Okay, we'll put those together. In my kit, these bolts are 19 millimeter, and they can be a little fiddly to get started in appropriately. By fiddly, I mean you just kind of have to hold them in place to get them started before you tighten them down. And remember the orientation of this and this. This goes on top. This needs to be put into place where it's on top, because it's going to hold your tire in place and allow you to take the strap on and off. And these obviously have a reason for being tilted downward in that direction. So on my kit, these are 19 millimeter, and I'll tighten them up. As I cinch up this other side here of the second piece I'm assembling, I'll just mention that the bolts so far have been provided with lock washers, so no thread tightener or locking compound should be necessary. And I'll just mention that I don't cinch everything 100% when I'm first assembling, because I want to make sure I've got it in the right place. And the worst thing to do would be to have it all fully assembled and then find out you did something wrong and disassemble it to a point. So I take them down pretty tight, then I'll tighten them up once we get the whole thing put together here. The next thing we do is attach the actual bike rack to the carrier piece here. These are 13 millimeter and come with washers, and these are the sliding bolts on this piece. I'm not sure if these are going to show up or not. I'm trying to show them, but the sliding bolts on this piece fit into corresponding slots on the carrier. And yes, these are supposed to be mounted in opposite directions, so that when you put the bikes on them, the handlebars on one bike will be the opposite end to the handlebars on the other bike. So I'm going to put this together off camera. Again, a little bit fiddly getting them all lined up and put in there, but you can do it. To make it easier to assemble these things, you can move these chocks. Just lift up on the stop there and move it out of the way. And that's the way we'll hold the bike in place, I imagine, once we get these on the car. All right, I'm going to put the second. I don't know how well this is going to show up being black on black and all, but little curiosity in my particular case, the first set came with these sliding screws already in place and locked in. The second one, they were in a separate bag. So don't know why that happens, but it did. And here are the lock nuts we'll use to attach these into place on the fingers. The next step involves putting these very steady looking holding bars, I guess they are. I don't know what the correct terminology is. And they fit into circular spots underneath the bike ramps themselves that shows the outboard one mounted outboard, if that makes any sense, and the inboard one mounted inboard. And you assemble it, pardon me while I drop that, with a little, not so little, cap screw and a couple of, I'm going to call these Teflon slider washers. Anyway, kind of keep an eye on this because this is going to be a little bit interesting. This one is supposed to slide over into the circular receptacle on this side, and we have to put a washer, almost forgot. We have to put a washer there between its flange and the bike ramp, and then get it aligned, and it'll slide right in there like that. All right, it's worth noting that these fasteners holding these bars up are the only bolts I've seen so far that have a torque requirement, which is 50 nanometers, which translates for us Americans still using pounds-foot into 36.878. Since my old school tool torque wrench won't go that far, I just put it at 37. So I'm going to torque this down to 37. Okay, our bike rack is assembled and it's time to put it onto the back of my SUV, which in my case is a BMW SUV X3, the compact model. But if your vehicle did come with a trailer hitch, it has a protective rubber casing over the back to keep the critters out, so you have to remove that first. So we'll remove that, put it over on the side here, and I'm going to do this while everyone is watching. And I just want to mention again that this is probably 30, 40 pounds here. Well, forget 30. This is more like 40 pounds here. So it's not lightweight. You may want to enlist a partner trying to install this. And I'm not sure for the ladies out there, no disrespect, but I'm not sure how easy it will be for you to lift this up and put it onto the SUV. But let's see, speaking of that, let's see if I can do it. So watch here. Okay, it's installed on the car. It is not inconsequential weight, so bear that in mind. Now we've got a kingpin and a clevis to push through corresponding bolt holes on the hitch that will keep the hitch from working in or out during transit. So I'm going to do that off camera, but we'll be back and we'll put a bike on it. Our bike rack does come with a loading ramp, which is handy because after all, if you're on an eMTB or an e-bike, they can weigh 50 or 60 pounds themselves. There are a couple of tabs here that attach to corresponding notches on the carrier. So we now have a bike ramp, excuse me, that should allow us to bring the bicycle up here. So let's give that a try. And to tilt the bike rack, make sure that both your holding posts are parallel like that. Just relieve a little pressure, pull back on the handle, and wait for the detents to drop into place there, and you have the bike rack installed. Then it's just the opposite. To bring it back down, just pull on that little bar there and roll down until that spring load carries those things back into their detent position. It's pretty easy to tilt. There's not hardly any weight feeling there, so anyone, I think, of reasonable physical capacity could tilt it. All right. All right, I've got my Cube eMTB over here just out of sight. Before you roll the bicycle on, make sure the hold down straps are pulled out of the way of the wheels and that your hold down bar is in the upright position. And this slider needs to be locked in place so it won't wander around on you. Putting the bike on is actually super simple. And this is no lightweight. We lock that in place. All right, final thoughts here on the OutfitR bike rack. Two bike rack with the fold-up feature. I'm going to say assembly difficulty is about a 5 or a 6, might be a 7. Again, there are some heavy parts in there, might require someone to help you out, especially if you are weight challenged. Ease of interpreting the instructions is a little bit difficult because we're relying on only pictures, and sometimes those pictures aren't quite as clear as they might be. The parts are not numbered. Many kits come with numbered parts, so you know that it's time to put on part number 2 or part number 3. In our case, the parts are not numbered. Not a non-starter. It's relatively logical how it all goes together. Do I feel it will do the job? Yes, I certainly do. The pieces are solid and substantial enough, and I would not have a problem taking our 2 relatively expensive e-bikes anywhere on this bike rack. I would note that storage when the bike rack is off the car, if you're in an apartment or something like that, might be a bit of a challenge. It does fold up kind of flat and would make itself a little bit inconspicuous, but it's still going to take some noticeable space, so keep that in mind as well. I'm going to say overall, I'm rather impressed with this piece, and I will be using it. And our next video, we're going to take that bicycle, go out into the countryside, and go for a ride. Oh, better yet, we're going to go to the beach. This is San Diego, and we'll go for a ride.